today's homework, there's something else I'd like to do. So as part of the initial setup before class began, you should have installed ESLint. ESLint, let's see if we can just find some information about it. Pluggable JavaScript linter. Anybody know what a linter is? Anybody heard that term before? So a static code analysis tool that basically checks your code as you type it to find potential problems. So it doesn't actually execute your code. That's why it's called a static code checker. It doesn't actually run it to see if there are errors. It just looks at the code and says, okay, here are some potential problems. And that can be really helpful and help you find things a little faster. Whenever you get errors in your text editor, that's probably what's happening. And ESLint is a really good one for JavaScript. If you don't have it, you can install it. npm install -g ESLint should do it. That's to install it globally. npm install -g ESLint. Type ESLint on the command line to see if you already have it. If you already have it, then you don't need to do that step. Yeah, then you don't need to do this part. If that command does anything, you don't need to do this part. So try to install ESLint, and then what we'll do is configure our project for it. So in any given project, you can put an ESLint config file that tells it what rules you want to enforce, basically. So you can tell it like whether it should require semicolons or not, or any number of other rules, and it's very, very configurable. And Create React App comes with a config for this by default, but it's you kind of don't get it to work right out of the box. We have to make one change before we can get it to actually work. So open up package.json. Make sure I'm in the right branch. Am I in the right branch? Yes. And we're going to make a small change to package.json. So we'll add something new after scripts here, so put a comma. JSON, you can't just leave the trailing comma there, or I would have earlier. And then we need a new key in our package.json. All keys in JSON have to be double quoted. ESLint config, the C is capitalized. ESLint config. And that will point to an object. Put the key extends, colon, the double quoted string React app. So that means our ESLint config for this project will inherit from a pre-configured ESLint config called React app. So there's a default set of things that will enforce that are pretty good for React. And we'll start to see some things that will help us if we forget certain things. Like if we try to use a component that we haven't imported yet. Or if we import something that we don't ever end up using, it'll remind us that that's there. So all the stuff you're seeing in your dev tools, all the warnings you're seeing in your dev tools and stuff will probably start showing up in your editor too. If you want to make sure it's working, just go somewhere, create a new variable, and then never use it. And right away, it's underlined, and it says it's declared but never used. First of all, give me a minute. My gosh, I just made the thing. But hey, we know it's working now. So that's just really helpful for finding errors as we type. So configure ESLint.